Monday edition, Clay Travis, Buck Sexton Show. Will break down the big Russia and Trump summit. What do Putin and Trump both gain, if anything, coming out of the big meeting on Friday afternoon? We will discuss all of that. Plus, Heather McDonald on the latest data relating to crime in Washington, D.C. and elsewhere. All that getting you started for the week. Monday edition, Clay and Buck. Come hang.
10 to 1 on News Talk KVNU, 102 FM and 610 AM.
Hi, it's Olivia Munn with my shelter pets, Frankie and Chance, reminding you that when you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique. Adopt pure love at theshelterpetproject.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the Humane Society of the United States, and Maddie's Fund.
At the V Foundation, V is for victory over cancer. V is for victory over giving up.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Join the V Foundation team. 100% of donations fund game-changing cancer research. Donate now at V.org.
Social Security, securing today and tomorrow. Visit socialsecurity.gov.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
If you can plan barbecues and weddings, you can plan to protect yourself from a natural disaster. Sign up for local alerts, prepare an emergency kit, and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
From your first sunrise to the sunset of life, we are with you through life's journey. Social Security, securing today and tomorrow. Visit socialsecurity.gov.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
If you think you're too young to worry about heart disease, think again. I'm Essence Harris, and I was 30 when an angiogram found a 90% blockage in 2 arteries. Now I'm asking all women to take control of their heart health. Exercise, eat a heart-healthy diet, and above all, listen to your body. Learn more at womenheart.org.
Retirement can be scary, but only if you're not prepared. That's why AARP created thisispretirement.org. Because unless you've already retired, you're in pretirement, and you still have time to plan. Learn about retirement savings options, potential tax breaks, and how you can build savings over time. Visit thisispretirement.org for free resources to help you customize your action plan and feel the retirement fear disappear. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
It's time for the Garden Guide with your host, Mark Anderson from Anderson Seed and Garden.
New research suggests that people are more likely to eat vegetables if they have a tempting name.
What would life be without homegrown tomatoes? Only 2 things that money can't buy, and that's true love and homegrown tomatoes.
From gardening to landscaping.
Today we are going to try and create garden eyebrows. Kind of like the flowers are sprouting directly from your hair. That makes sense.
Go! Phone lines are open at 753-KVNU or 800-369-KVNU.
Kind of like eating vegetables.
It's the Garden Guide, now on KVNU 610 AM and 102 FM.
Good morning and welcome to the Garden Guide. This is Mark Anderson with Anderson Seed and Garden, and we are here talking garden and lawn and trees and flowers, and it's a great time of the summer. It's been a little bit cooler and then a little bit hotter, and then it's going to cool down again, so it's a great time to get out there and enjoy your harvest and enjoy the flowers. And this is last week before school starts?
Yeah, feels weird.
It's like, dang, our summer's almost over. So, but harvested our first cantaloupe the other day, and it was absolutely delicious. It was hiding in with a bunch of other ones, and so it had ripened up, and the other ones were still kind of green, so I didn't notice it was in there. So I was like, oh, I hope it's not too ripe. I hope it's not too ripe. And we cut it open. It's like, oh, it's perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah. It was just absolutely perfect. So no complaints there. And the cucumbers are starting to come on, and we've picked a whole bunch of beans, and the raccoons decided our corn looked really good early, and it's not ready yet. Probably by the end of next week, the corn will be ready, but the raccoons thought it looked pretty good. So we set a couple traps last night for the raccoons. So
See if you
that
can
works. Yeah, so we can encourage them to
live elsewhere,
go
and
somewhere else.
eat
Yeah,
elsewhere.
yeah, exactly. So that's kind of how that works. But
Are we ahead or behind this year? I remember last summer we were talking a lot about everything being about 2 weeks behind.
Yeah. We're kind of like right on this year.
Really?
Seems like with the tomatoes, we're harvesting at just about the right time, and peppers. I've got peppers that are ripening up already, and if I can get a cantaloupe by the first or second week of August, I'm usually pretty happy because they take about 75 to 85 days. So if I plant them the Memorial Day weekend, then they're coming on that second week of August, which is not too bad. So I was a little late getting my corn planted too. So there's a lot of other people that have been consuming their corn already, and ours is still kind of slow. But
I've noticed my peppers have stalled out a bit. My tomatoes are.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm losing everything about a foot up because I got some new chickens, and the younger ones. The younger ones have realized they can jump the 5-foot fence around the garden. The old ones don't.
Yeah.
But the younger ones have realized
They're
they
like,
can.
ooh, I can get in there, and there's some tasty stuff in there.
Anything that goes red about a foot high is gone.
Some tasty stuff. So. Well, we've got some cool things happening at Anderson Seed this weekend. Well, I guess one of the least cool things is this is the last weekend for compost tea. So compost tea, we are running out of compost tea, and this is the day that we will probably have our last batch of compost tea. So if you want to get your last refills for 2025, this is the weekend to do it.
And that's a good idea right now, right? As the season starts to change.
Work to the point where I'm just like, I'm not fertilizing anybody anymore, except for my giant pumpkins, which I checked them last night. I think they're about 300 pounds right now. So
wow,
I would suspect they're 300. They might be a little bit more. So they're looking really good though. So looking good. So still growing. Don't have their mature color. So we're hopefully going to double that in the next couple of weeks. And I'm hopeful that we'll get close to 1,000 pounds this year. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, got my fingers crossed. We'll see what we can get in 2 weeks here. So
and that's coming up September 27th, right?
The 27th.
The festival.
Yep, September 27th is the Center Street Giant Pumpkin Festival, and we have even more vendors coming this year. And we've got 4 bands playing, so there'll be bands playing in the plaza pretty much all day.
Oh, wow.
And then pie eating contest this year. So we tried it last year. We kind of did it last minute last year, and it worked out great. And so we're doing it again this year. Lee's Marketplace is sponsoring the pie eating contest. And so Lee's, we'll have like, I think 4 or 5 different categories that you can enter in. And it was actually a blast last year. It was really, really fun. We had a lot of people participate. So
I love how competitive it is. The winner.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just reading this. I forgot this. The winner won by 2 pounds. Broke the record.
Oh,
by
last
2
year.
pounds
Yeah,
last year.
last year. So at the
that's how down to the wire this
exactly.
goes.
at the Pumpkin Festival. So at the Way Off last year, we had a new state record, and the state record broke the old record by 2 pounds.
2 pounds.
Yeah, and it was 2,287 pounds.
That's wild.
And it was so big. We're just like, holy smoke! This is a huge pumpkin.
I remember when the first festival happened, and they're bringing these in on flatbed trucks.
Yep.
Just wild to see.
I think we should have about 30 giant pumpkins, maybe a few more this year. So they are very large, and most of them are on pallets. And the really big ones are on like 5-foot pallets. So the winner last year was on a 5x5 pallet. I had to put like the fork extenders on my forklift to pick it up, and it was huge. Yeah. That forklift's made for like 4,000 pounds, but not that large of 4,000 pounds.
When it's spread out.
Yeah,
over
it's spread out that much, and so then all of a sudden you're driving and you can feel the forklift kind of tipping forward a little bit because there's so much weight out on the tips of the forks, which is
that is
so you drive slow and you keep your pallet really, really low.
That is amazing.
So
honestly,
it was a blast. It was so much fun last year. So we'll be doing the Way Off starting at 11 o'clock. Way Off will go on throughout the day, so you can come and just kind of check it out and see what's happening. But you can go into the pumpkin gallery like all day long and check out all the pumpkins and look at those. And then there's vendors, and there'll be food trucks, and there's tons of kids' activities. So if you've got a family and you want to have a fun afternoon, you come down and there's like tons of kids' activities. I think last year we had like 25 different kids activities.
Yeah.
Jump the Moon's there doing art stuff, and Logan Library was there doing story time, and they had some fun activities as well too. So just fun games and food and giant pumpkins. It's just kind of hard to beat.
This is really cool, and I forgot this last year. At the time of the festival, I'm looking at the photos at AndersonSeedandGarden.com from last year's festival, and everyone's in shorts and T-shirts.
It was almost 90 degrees last year. It was hot. Yeah, for the end of September, it was really hot. And the year before, it was this really nice 70, 75 degrees. It was like perfect. So we're hoping for cooler temperatures and no rain on that weekend. So we'll keep our fingers crossed, because the rain kind of dampens things down. We don't have quite as much fun and excitement. But we'll see what happens. We've got a lot of great things planned for the Center Street Giant Pumpkin Festival, and the growers are super, super excited about it. We've got a few growers that have some 1,500-pound pumpkins already. That's 1,600-pound pumpkins. Yeah, so we're gonna have some big ones again this year.
Still amazing that comes from one plant.
I know, and I'm sitting here going, okay, mine's like 300 pounds. How do they get it to like 1,500 already? It's just like, you guys are crazy. They spend so much time on those pumpkins. I just don't have the time for it. So.
And I remember one. I can't remember if it was last year or the year before, but there was one that literally filled an entire driving lane on Center Street.
Oh yeah,
during the festival, out there on a pallet.
Yeah,
wild.
Yeah, it is crazy. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. So we've got our cash sale going on at Anderson Seed. So the cash sale's going on, and we have bumped up the discounts. So right now, all of our trees and shrubs and vines and evergreens and flowering trees, flowering shrubs, they're all 40% off. So we've got 40% off on all of our nursery stock, except our perennials. Perennials are 25% off. It's because we're still getting fresh new perennials in. But with the nursery stock, it's time to clear those out and find a home for them. But if you pay with cash, so like cold hard cash, presidents on the bills, that kind of cash, you get extra 10%.
Oh,
and
wow.
so you can get 50% off all of our remaining trees and shrubs and evergreens and vines. So
that's very cool.
Yeah. So it's a great time to come in. Good sale happening at Anderson Seed and Garden. So our cash sale is currently ongoing, 40% off on our nursery stock, except for the perennials. They're 25% off. But if you pay with cash, you get an extra 10% off on everything except for the perennials. So the perennials aren't included in the cash sale right now because, like I said, we've got new perennials coming in all the time, and our clearance perennials are already on sale, better than 50% off. So they're better than 50% off. So I would take the existing price on those instead of the sale price. So.
We have Kathy on the line with a question. And just before that, we had Ben with he didn't have time to stay, but he had a question that ties in with what you just said.
Yeah.
Ben just wanted to know quickly: is it too warm still to start planting perennials that you usually plant towards the end of summer?
Oh yeah, for fall. So
but it is warm. So
it is warm, but they can handle it. So no problem. And there's some really great perennials that are fall bloomers. So you've got like asters and mums and phlox are starting to bloom right now. So we've got there's some really nice perennials that are late bloomers that you can add to your landscape. So you have something that's blooming in August and even into September that way. And so whatever we bring in right now that's starting to bloom, it's going to bloom about the same time last year. And so usually towards the end of August, we're bringing in quite a few mums. The asters are really, really pretty. They've kind of quit growing goldenrod because so many people are allergic to it. And so goldenrod's one that blooms really late as well, too. And it's got these vibrant golden yellow colors to them. So they're really, really pretty. But some people are highly allergic to them. So you don't see them as much as you used to. But there's some great flowers that are late bloomers. And the tall phlox have just started to bloom, end of July, 1st of August. So they're in bloom right now, and they look really good as well too.
That's
bee balm.
Cool.
I saw somebody go out of the store the other day with bee balm that was just like covered with flowers, and the bee balm's really pretty. So it's called Monarda, and what else? Scabiosa's blooming right now. Liatris.
Oh, wow.
There's a few things that are looking pretty good. So not too bad. So perennials, absolutely. Trees, shrubs, evergreens, really great time to plant from now until the ground freezes in December. I mean, honestly, it's a great time to plant as things are cooling down. I mean, you can tell already at night. So it's like we don't have the air conditioner on at night anymore because it just cools down at like 9 o'clock. You can feel the temperature kind of drop a little bit.
Yeah.
And so we pop the windows open. And it's like feels
better.
really good. Yeah. But the plants are noticing as well too, and it's definitely cooling down. So we're getting warm temperatures during the day, but definitely starting to cool down at night. So great time to plant and perfect time to plant grass.
Very cool.
Yeah, great time for grass. So.
And we have another question from a caller.
From Kathy.
Yeah, Kathy is ready to go on air. And Kathy, I apologize. Kathy actually called twice, and my finger got in the way, and I hung up on her.
It does happen from time to time.
Thank you for calling back,
yes.
Kathy.
It was not personal, Kathy.
No, it's just my one finger was where it shouldn't be, and I bumped the wrong button.
It happens.
Yeah, those buttons are just too big or too small or something for Jason. I don't know.
It's too early.
Yeah.
I do that when I'm typing to people on my phone.
There you go. And you go, I didn't type that. It's like, what? Siri,
right.
stop autocorrecting. So.
Yeah. Oh, and that's even worse. Listen, I've been out of town for a few weeks, and I had someone watering my trees, and they did a great job. But we got back, and the peach tree, the other ones are fine, but the peach tree, the leaves are yellow. Is it iron deficiency, maybe?
More than likely. I've got a peach that's kind of doing the same thing. Iron deficiency shows up in the most recent growth first. So is it out on the very tips of the peach tree?
It looks like I was gone 3 weeks. It's pretty much all over.
All over. And it starts out on the tips, and then gradually it just kind of will work its way through the entire tree. But since we did have a really wet spring to start off with, and then it's been hot and dry since, we've seen a lot of chlorotic plants, so a lot of plants that are lacking iron, and you will see lighter colored leaves. They'll go kind of a lighter green, and then they could go yellow, and then you'll see dark green veins running through those leaves, and it always starts in the newest growth first and works its way back through the tree. If it's starting in the older growth and it looks very similar, but it starts in the old growth and the new growth looks good, then it could be a zinc or a magnesium a manganese deficiency. And so you can definitely start with the chelated iron to try and green those up. We may want to shift, if you think it's some of the other micronutrients, to a more complete micronutrient package. Like combo chelate would be great because it has all the micros in it. And
I have that.
Yeah.
Bicor,
Yep.
iron combo chelate.
Yep.
How much of it would I put on? It's about a 15-foot tall tree.
1 ounce per inch of trunk diameter. And it doesn't matter really how much water you mix in it or mix it in, as long as you get that amount on the ground out around the tree, like in the drip line under the canopy.
Okay.
Yeah. So an ounce.
So I need to take it out to the outside of it.
Out where the tips of the branches reach, from there in towards the trunk would be great. And you don't have to get like right close to the trunk, but there's lots of feeder roots all in that area. But the most feeder roots are concentrated kind of in that drip line area, because when it rains, that's where all the rain comes off and drops right there on the edge of the line of the tree. And so that's where a lot of feeder roots are. So an ounce per inch of trunk diameter. So
I have to go and spin it again. All the branches are so low. I thought I did such a good job.
Yeah. Well, if you've watered a lot through the summertime too, which we've had to do, it kind of leaches some of the available iron out of the soil, so that then the plants can't pick it up. So that is a possibility too. What I'd recommend is next spring, probably. Think green, think St. Patrick's Day. And we would do like a EDDHA chelated iron on your tree first thing in the spring, around March or April. Jason, I think we might have lost Kathy there. So yeah,
we actually just had an entire phone system reboot here,
like a reboot. Okay,
yes,
well, I'll continue answering Kathy's question, and
Kathy,
then we'll
apologize again.
We'll greet her as we end. But use that EDDHA iron and put that on in end of March, first part of April, and then that would kind of take care of it for the entire season. So that would not be a problem doing that. early on, and then you'd be good for the entire year. Or you could use the tree treats, also from Bicor, and those are like little implants that go right into the trunk of the tree. So both of those would be great options, but I would do those early on. But right now, the iron combo chelate would be superb. Yeah, it'd be excellent. So no problems there.
And apologies a second time to Kathy. So that time the system actually rebooted. So it might not have been my fault the first time.
You didn't.
I'm going to claim it was this the entire time. No, the first time it was just fumble fingers.
Yeah.
But that time we actually lost power here, and this has been happening all week. So hopefully this doesn't happen again. We do have Carson on the line now.
Right. Awesome. Carson, welcome to the Garden Guide.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, so I've got a couple of questions. My first is regarding pears. I've got a pear tree, but the pears are shriveling.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to do about that.
Are they shriveling, or does the skin look like it's russeted? Does it look like kind of a russety potato?
I'd say more of a shriveled.
Shriveled up. Okay, you may have had some fire blight then. Fire blight affects the blossoms, and it can definitely affect the fruit as well too. And you'll see them kind of shrivel up, and they'll turn a darker brown color, and basically eventually fall off the tree. But it will damage your fruit to the point where you can't use it. So that's one of the few things that really will shrivel the fruit up throughout the summertime. Is it sporadic, or is it kind of all over the entire tree?
It's a good question. I think sporadic.
Okay, so just like spots here and there. Look for leaves that have turned a really dark brown or even a black on the pear. And if that's the case, then that's a pretty good sign of fire blight. The good thing about fire blight is when it turns hot in the middle of summer, once we get into July and August, it doesn't spread anymore through the tree. It just kind of stops. But the parts of the tree that have been damaged, you want to prune those off. And we'll usually recommend you prune 6 to 8 inches past the last visible damage and just take that growth off, because the disease is bacterial, and once it's inside the tree, it doesn't go away. It stays inside there. And then in the spring, there'll be little cankers that develop on the branches, and they'll split open, and then the bacteria comes out, and then the tree can get reinfected with it. And so we try and prune those parts off to try and prevent reinfection for next year, because it just sticks around forever until your tree dies. So it's one that we want to take care of. What I would recommend, Carson, is you take some photos and shoot them over to me, and I would be glad to take a look at it and just verify. But I'm fairly confident that you've got fire blight.
Okay.
All right.
And then my second question, I've got an apple tree that's been in the ground probably about 18 months.
Okay.
So quite a while, but whenever the wind blows kind of hard, it looks like it's about to tip over.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I should stake it or if I give it a root stimulator or something.
Probably a little bit of both. Yeah, probably a little bit of both. And so if the wind's blowing hard enough that your tree's like really moving, we want to boost that root system. And the bigger the root system, the more stable the tree is going to be. And so that would definitely help with that. But in the meantime, I would stake it. So if it's blowing, to the west, just for example, we would stake it on the east side, maybe 2 stakes or 3 stakes, and then wrap that around the trunk. Do something to cushion whatever you're staking it with, if it's wire or if it's a rope or something. Do something to cushion that so it doesn't bite into the tree. So usually I'll use like old piece of hose and just cut it into like 8-inch pieces or longer if you need to, and then I'll put like a wire through it and then use that to stake it down with, and then the hose cushions the wire so it doesn't bite into the tree, and that works really, really well, and it's very inexpensive as well too. So stake, and then for boosting the root system, I would use either Bigfoot or Kangaroots. And either one of those products really focuses on getting the root system as healthy and as extensive as possible, as quickly as possible. And so you just mix those up in water the root system with it, and all of a sudden your root system will double in size. And the more roots you've got, the more secure your tree is going to be.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Super. You're welcome, Carson. Hey, thanks for calling, and good luck with your pears.
Thanks.
Yep.
Bye.
We'll see you. Very good.
And I fixed the phone system.
Oh,
issue.
nice.
Future callers, don't worry.
All right.
I got some advice from an engineer via text.
It's usually better when the engineers are involved, right?
Yeah, we're working with so much new equipment here, and it's nice, but it's pretty.
A little bit of a learning curve. A little bit of a learning
touch and
curve.
go.
Yep, a little bit of a learning curve. So what's our phone numbers if our callers would like to call in?
You can get us 753-5868. And if you happen to be listening outside of Cache Valley and want to call on a landline, there's also 1-800-369-5868.
Yeah, or KVNU.
That's right, KVNU on the old way we used to dial, right? The KVNU.
Yeah, that works. It still works. So I like that. Cool. We're at the bottom of the hour already. We've had 3 phone calls, so that's great. Call in with your questions or comments. We would love to have you join us here on the show. Don't forget, cash sale is going on at Anderson Seed and Garden this weekend. Center Street Giant Pumpkin Festival is coming up in the near future. There's like some really cool events happening on Center Street. We've got the Center Street Art Beat is the end of this month.
Oh, yeah.
A Latino festival is coming up, which is sponsored by Cache Valley.
Yeah, they're working on it here at the radio group. I saw
Valley Radio Group.
Some planning happening the other day.
Cache Valley Media. Yeah. So very, very cool. Some really fun things happening downtown. And we're going to take a short break. But when we come back, we'll continue talking about gardens and harvest and whatever we can do to solve your garden problems. And call in with those questions or comments, 753-KVNU or 5868. And we'll be here to answer those questions.
30 minutes now after the hour, and with your KVNU News headlines, I'm Will Feelright. Well, a man who shot and wounded 2 Pocatello police officers back in May of 2022 has been sentenced to 40 years in prison. Todd Vernon Brewer, a 48-year-old, was sentenced on Thursday for shooting officers Demetrius Amos and Mackenzie Handel with an AR-15 rifle during a domestic violence call. Now, he was found guilty back in March on 2 counts of aggravated battery on law enforcement officers and 2 counts of aggravated assault. Now, during Thursday's sentencing, 6th District Judge Javier Gabriela had said that he considered the protection of society a top priority. Now, while acknowledging Brewer's mental health issues, the judge said that Brewer was aware the approaching officers were not the gang stalkers that he acclaimed to have been in the hearing. Now, both Amos and Handel sustained serious injuries but have since recovered and returned to work in law enforcement. And a semi-truck driver was killed in a rollover crash that happened along Interstate 80 early Friday morning near Richfield. Utah Highway Patrol Lieutenant Cameron Roden said the crash occurred at about 5 a.m. when the eastbound semi went off the road, hit a barrier, and then rolled. Now, the driver, who was not identified yet pending notification of family, was not wearing a seatbelt and pronounced dead at the scene. Now, the crash ended up blocking the left eastbound lane of I-70 for several hours as crews worked to clear the wreckage and investigate the cause. No other vehicles were involved and no other injuries were reported. The cause of the semi going off the road is being investigated. Well, we're going to see overall a mix of just a few clouds and lots of sunshine with a small chance of possibly an isolated thunderstorm or two as we continue through the weekend. I'm Will Feelright with your KVNU News headlines.
I'm Jim Basquil. Let's lead it off with baseball's hottest team as they come back from a huge early deficit.
1-1. Fly ball, left field, back, and gone again for Yelly. The Brewers lead it 9-8 in a game that should be played in the upside down. He's 4 for 4 and has driven in 5.
At 6:20 WTMJ, Christian Yelich, 2 home runs, 4 hits, 5 knocked in. Brewers overcame a 7-run deficit, down 8-1, win it 10-8, record tying club record, 13 straight win, matching what they did in 1987. Teoscar Hernandez home run was the difference. Dodgers shaved the Padres 3-2. Clayton Kershaw 6 strong. Career win number 219. L.A. now tied with San Diego for first in the NL West. Cal Raleigh hit his major league leading 46th home run, sparked a 5-run 7th with a leadoff double. Mariners set a team record with 9 doubles. Best of Mets 11-9. New York losing for the 14th time in 16 games. O's right-hander Brandon Young entered Friday's start 0-6, 6.70 career ERA. He had a perfecto for 7 2/3, broken up by Ramon Urias. as the O's win it 7-0. Trevor Story, a walk-off winner. Red Sox 2-1 over the Marlins. Boston's 10th walk-off win of the season. That's most in the bigs. Alejandro Kirk, a 2-run home run in the 7th. Game-deciding 2-run single in the 8th as the Blue Jays come back on the Rangers 6-5. Kyle Schwarber, his 43rd home run, a 3-run swat in the 7th. Phillies beat the Nats 6-2. And from the WNBA, the expansion Golden State Valkyries beat the Chicago Sky 90-59. Their franchise record, 4th straight win. They set the WNBA record for wins by an expansion team already. And there's games to play, getting their 18th W.
Whether you're on the range or back at home, it's open season for savings right now at your local Cal Ranch. Shop in-store through August 19th to get everything you need for your fall yard cleanup. For a limited time only, Cal Ranch is giving you a free $50 gift card when you purchase a 162Z or 172 CEZ chainsaw from Stihl. Plus, save $50 off the Milwaukee fuel-powered blower just in time for falling leaves around the lawn. You can load up and haul out debris with ease using the Oxcart Territory dump trailer, now $150 off. Find even more on sale for fall at your local Cal Ranch, good through Tuesday the 19th. Hurry in today.
We're your Cal Ranch store, ranch and home store, and so much more.
Load up deals at Cal Ranch right now for the Hunt and Harvest Sale.
CashValleyDaily.com, your go-to source for all things local. Get plugged into the pulse of your community with our comprehensive local news coverage. From city council decisions to feature stories highlighting people in your own neighborhood, we've got you covered. But that's not all. Catch the adrenaline of live, local sports and the latest news involving the Utah State Aggies. Don't miss out on crucial information that affects you and your loved ones on CashValleyDaily.com. Stay informed, engaged, and empowered. Because staying local means staying connected.
It's the Garden Guide on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102.1 FM.
All right, welcome back to the Garden Guide. I'm Mark Anderson with Anderson Seed and Garden, and we are taking your calls, answering your questions, hopefully finding solutions for your garden problems, and hoping that you're harvesting as much as we are at our house. Sounds like at Jason's house, the chickens are harvesting most of it. So
yeah, I'm walking away with. I'm looking at these zucchinis as I'm pulling them in, thinking, okay. Who needs zucchinis?
Yeah. Our neighbor's daughter was out helping me in the garden last night, which is cool because my daughters are old enough now that they have moved on and are doing other things. And it's like, it was really fun to have her come and help.
Oh,
and she
cool.
walked out with like a shirt full of like cherry tomatoes and a couple zucchinis and a cucumber in her arms, and she could like barely walk. So I was like, it made my night. It was really fun.
My favorite part about the zucchinis and the summer squashes is they just kind of sit there doing a little bit through July, and then August comes along and
here you go crazy. Yeah, go crazy. And we've been harvesting onions. Our onions look amazing. My neighbor on the other side harvested his onions, and he had them like spread out on the lawn. And I was driving by going to work, and I stopped, and I was like, wow, it's like your onions look awesome. They're like big, like really big onions. He had like reds and whites and yellows, and it was like the nicest display of onions at the farmer's market you could imagine. Cool. Yeah, it's like, dang, those look really, really good. And his corn looks awesome. So I'll have to tell him that the raccoons are on the prowl because they had a heyday with mine and just had to sample everything to see if it was ready yet. So when it's not ready, they'll wait like a week and then they'll come back. So it's like I waited a couple of days, and then I actually set traps for them last night. So we've got some live traps to catch them and relocate them with.
And this is a little early for them, isn't it?
It's about right. Yeah. We've been hearing the raccoons at night out having a party. So we kind of suspected that they were coming, but didn't have problems with raccoons last year. Didn't have problems with raccoons the year before, but the year before that they trashed our corn. just completely trashed it. Yeah, so not as much fun. Definitely not as much fun. So at Anderson Seed and Garden, we've got our cash sale going on right now. Cash sale is 40% off on our trees, flowering trees, shade trees, fruit trees, evergreens, shrubs, flowering shrubs. They're all on sale 40% off right now. But if you pay with cash, you know, the official cold hard cash with presidents on it, you get an extra 10% off. So you can get 50% off right now. And then we've got all the soil amendments to plant them with. We've got Bigfoot. We've got our plant guarantee to plant them with to help ensure that your plants do well throughout the rest of this year, winter over, and then go like crazy next year. So we have all the fertilizers and the mycorrhiza and all the packages you need to be successful with your planting as well, too. So if you're getting a bunch of trees and you want them to really take off for next year, make sure and ask about our plant guarantee package, because it does. It makes them more healthy and more hardy and more resilient for winter. So it really does make a big difference. Yeah,
I have to say, last year at this time, you and I were talking, and we were talking about my garden, and you gave me some recommendations, and I went down that day. Same thing I'm going to do today. Go down to the farmer's market, swing by Anderson Seed, and head home. Yeah. You recommended a shade wildflower mix, fall planting style, and some red clover for my garden dirt, because I'd mentioned some of the
for doing like a cover crop.
Yeah, winter cover crop, and so I did that last year, and I have to tell you, Mark, it has been one of the most amazing years. Both that shaded garden that would grow nothing well.
Yeah.
It used to be a squash garden, but the tree has grown over now, so
that happens.
It was a nothing garden for years, and now it's this beautiful shade wildflower garden.
Cool.
And then the red clover in the garden, tilled that in the spring.
Did you plant the wildflowers in the fall? Did you do the fall planting?
Yep, I tossed them out late September last year.
It works great.
I was amazed.
It really works great, because I'll have people come in and they're just like, oh, I want to do wildflowers. It's like, okay, plant in October.
Yeah.
Plant in October or early November, and then those seeds just sit out there all winter. And then as soon as the soil warms up in the spring, and usually the soil's already moist because we're having consistent rainstorms coming through, they just pop up like crazy.
Yeah, it was. I did nothing to it, but the spring rains took care of it.
Yeah,
and they grew so fast, no weeds.
That's awesome. So what I usually recommend to people is, when you're doing wildflowers and you really want them to look good, overseed them again the next year. So this fall, let's do the same thing, and you're going to supplement the flowers that you got this year, and they're going to drop seeds. And then the perennial flowers will start to flower next year. And so next year, you're going to get double or triple the amount of flowers you had this year. And then when we talk in August, you're going to go, this is so awesome.
It's honestly amazing. And I haven't touched it.
Yeah.
It's the flowers have kept the weeds out. I've made sure it got some water with the sprinklers and stuff like that at least once a week. But otherwise, I've left it alone, and it's beautiful.
And that's all it needs is like once a week.
Yeah,
you don't have to like worry about watering it all the time. Just the once a week.
It was amazing, and this was literally down at Anderson Seed, that little shade garden mix in the brown bag.
Right. There's an ounce of seed in there, so it covers about 500 square feet, and you just kind of broadcast that out. I'd recommend you do it again. Because the first year, it's okay. The second year, it's like, ooh, this looks really good. And then by the third year, when all the flowers are kicking in, then you're like, yes, that's exactly what I wanted. So
I'll have to pick one of those up.
And then it goes year after year after year. It just keeps coming back. But then the cover crop, you said the cover crop.
Yeah, the cover crop was, so first off, red clover is beautiful.
Yes.
It was really fun to watch, but I got it before it went to seed.
Perfect, yes.
And that portion of the garden, I did half the garden just to test it.
Yeah.
And that portion of the garden has been amazing. You can see the dirt looks visibly different than the other side where I didn't do this.
And this is the time to start planting cover crops so that you can get some growth out of it, especially if we start getting some monsoonal moisture. So we've seen clouds forming at night now, and so hopefully we're going to start getting some afternoon rain showers that come through. And that's like the perfect time to plant your cover crops, because you can just broadcast it up and down the rows of your garden, and it really won't interfere with the stuff that you're harvesting right now. So it's not going to bother the vegetables that are like fully grown and are starting to mature. It won't hurt them at all. But then all of a sudden you'll have these cover crops growing instead of weeds. Because if we start getting rainstorms, guess what? you start to get more weeds. Yeah.
All those little seeds that have been sitting there all summer
waiting,
long, right?
Yeah, just waiting. So for a cover crop, you can just like take a broadcast spreader, just walk up and down the rows and just broadcast it up and down the rows. And if you feel excited about it, you can like rake it in. If you want to do a little extra work, you can kind of rake it into the soil. But then if Mother Nature starts providing a little bit of moisture, which we have our fingers crossed and our toes crossed and our knees and arms and legs crossed that we're going to get a little something here.
Please.
All of a sudden, those will start to germinate and come up. I mean, you can supplement with a little bit of a sprinkler to encourage them to germinate a little bit quicker. But then just do exactly what you said. Don't let it go to seed. Let it get full height, full maturity, but no seed, and then just till it into your garden this fall. And it does. It breaks up the soil. It breaks up clay. It puts organic matter back into the soil. It puts nutrition back into the soil. It's a really inexpensive and easy way to build your soil up, especially if you have a really big garden and you can't get enough compost, you can't get enough leaves and grass clippings. It's hard. If your garden's 5,000 square feet, it's hard to get enough stuff to put out there to make a difference.
And this way, the red clover and the hairy vetch, you just toss the seeds.
Yeah. So
watch it grow. By the way, the bees love the hairy vetch.
Oh, they love the
bumblebees.
Yeah.
Bumblebees.
Yeah, absolutely.
Saw a lot of bumblebees on the very
the
vetch.
bees love the clover. They like the buckwheat. They love the vetch. They're not as excited about the winter rye. But that's okay. And those are all four really great cover crops, and they will germinate quickly, and they will grow fairly aggressively, and they will keep the weeds down. And then in the fall, you can just like go over it with the lawnmower if you want, just to kind of cut it down, and then just till it right back into your garden. It's a great way to condition your soil, build your soil back up, and break up clay. The root systems of those plants, they really break those clay particles up so they don't clump together. And then it adds organic matter, which is smaller than the clay particles, and it keeps it from clumping back up again. And so there's some mechanical action happening in there to actually break the clay apart, and then you've got material in between the clay particles to keep them from clumping back up again. So there's no chemical reactions necessarily, but it's really putting a lot of nutrient back in there. But there's some mechanical actions that are breaking that soil up.
That makes sense.
And it really does make a big difference in your garden.
I'd noticed when we talked on air last year, so the garden soil would do that. I don't know, my parents used to call it alligator skin, but but it would basically turn into this hard shell with giant cracks and crevices in it.
Oh yeah.
And no matter how much we watered, that would happen every day. And so after doing this year, it looks soft and fluffy.
Yeah.
And that was literally just red clover.
Oh, yeah.
And tilling it in. I actually hated to till it in because it was beautiful.
It is really pretty, yeah. And it does. It like an acre of clover is very similar to an acre of alfalfa for the amount of pollen.
Really?
For the bees, yeah. And so you can sustain a full colony of bees on an acre of alfalfa.
Oh, very nice.
And I think you can do the same thing with the clover as well, too, because the clover, once it really starts to flower, the bees love the clover. Yeah, there's lots of good pollen and nectar in there.
So cool. And then,
yeah.
And then I reap the benefits this summer with my garden.
Yeah.
Just every plant in that stretch of the garden is loving life.
Yeah, really, really good. So if you have questions or comments and you want to call in to the Garden Guide, we've got about 10 minutes left. Phone number is 753-KVNU, 753-5868, or 1-800. What's the rest of the number?
Sorry, 1-800-369-5868.
I couldn't remember the 369, but I knew the last numbers were the same. So in the old studio, there used to be like a little sticky note on the wall. And so then I could cheat and I'd go, okay, it's 1-800-369-5868. Everybody thought I was really smart. So
we'll get one of those back up here. I need it sometimes too.
Well, it's good because we're talking about so many other different things, and we're talking about lots of other numbers, and then it's like, oh, now I gotta remember what the phone number is. It's like it's hard to keep track of all that stuff. So
that is. And I promise, if you call 753-5868, I fixed the phone system.
Perfect.
Nothing weird will happen.
We're not going to lose you this time. Not going to lose you. Hey, we've had a lot of people concerned about mosquitoes since we've had a few cases of West Nile virus showing up. So there are some really great things you can do right now. Fortunately, mosquito season has not been really bad, but there there are still a bunch out there. And so there's some natural repellents that really work great to keep them out of your yard. And of course, the health department highly recommends, personal repellents as well too, with how do you pronounce it, Picardin in it, or DEET.
Wow.
There's some really, really great repellents that do a good job and are safe for people to use. But we also have like the cedar oil granules that we use, and I've also got it in a liquid that you can use in your yard to prevent the mosquitoes from coming into your yard in the first place.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so Mosquito Go granules will last 2 to 3 weeks. So it's not just have to spray every single day or every time you go outside, but it'll last for weeks, and it drives the mosquitoes elsewhere. So send them to your neighbor's house. Yeah,
because that's the thinking on this, right? You're not going to eradicate every mosquito ever. That's impossible.
No. Yeah,
but you can push them away.
You can push them away, keep them out of your yard, so you're less likely to be a target for them. And the cedar oil smells amazing, so it makes your yard smell really, really good. It's non-toxic for people, non-toxic for pets. Really doesn't affect like beneficial insects, but it will work on other insects too. So it works on grasshoppers, and it works on moths, and it works on flies, and we're not sure if it works on like wasps, but it definitely doesn't bother bees, because I've done the repellent multiple times with my beehives, and the bees just don't care. And so it doesn't bother them at all. But it really works great on mosquitoes. And so between the cedar oil granules, the Mosquito Go, or our mosquito beater, which is the liquid version, you can really drive those mosquitoes away for weeks with it, and it does make your yard smell really good. If you want to kill them, a permethrin is probably still the best product, because the permethrin not only kills, but it repels as well too. And they're not really sure why the permethrin repels the mosquitoes, because it doesn't really have a scent or anything. There's no research that they've been able to come up with on why the permethrin repels. They just know that it does. And so you'll find fabrics like hats and scarves, and sometimes even clothing that has been permeated with the permethrin, and it drives the mosquitoes away. So a lot of the uniforms that the military use, they'll put permethrin in there, because not only does it kill like ticks and fleas when the soldiers are out in the field, but it keeps mosquitoes away as well too. And so the permethrin is probably one of the very best options. We have a hose end spray that's made by the same company that makes Sayonara, and it's got amazing ingredients in there. It actually has a growth regulator in there, and so it will keep the mosquitoes in your yard from reproducing as well too. So it's a really, really safe product. Kills them, repels them, prevents reproduction. And so it's a very, very effective product if you're in parts of the valley that have a lot of mosquitoes. So yeah, really, really cool products. Again, safe for people, safe to use around the yard, but very, very effective on these targeted insects that we're trying to control.
Good time of year.
Yeah.
So, we have Janet on the line with a question.
Good morning, Janet. Welcome to the Garden Guide.
Hi, how are you guys doing today?
It's a gorgeous day outside.
It sure is. Yeah. Okay, so I haven't called you like I normally do every year, because this has been a stellar year for weeds, and all I've been doing is weeding.
Gotcha.
So, oh my gosh. But I noticed on my raspberries were great this year. They're looking fabulous because I kept them watered really well. But you get the borer in,
yes,
and I know what that looks like. But it looks like my plants are dying. Like, not everything, just it looks like the borer's in there. But instead of just kind of the leaves curling and it turning to silver tips and stuff, the whole thing, it's so weird. Now, my husband swears that's what it is, but it looks so much more severe than it ever has before.
Sure.
So,
does it go all the way down to the ground? Like it appears like the
about.
Okay. There are two different kind of borer that affect raspberries, and one is the cane borer, and that's when the top curls over, kind of looks like a shepherd's crook,
right,
and then you get that kind of silvery, dark green, then it goes brown and crispy. But there's also a crown borer, which is a different critter, and they actually attack the canes right where they come out of the ground, and then the whole cane will die back. And the crown borers are probably a lot worse than the cane borers, because the cane borers, you can just prune those out and the plants are fine because the roots are good. But the crown borers actually attack the root system as well too, and the crowns right where they come out of the ground. And so it can kill parts of your patch for sure. And so
Yeah.
you would use the same product that you use for the cane borer, but you're going to mix it up in like a watering can, and then you're going to water your raspberries with it so you get that insecticide down into the ground so you can kill those borers as they attack the raspberries. So permethrin, the sayonara would be really good. 7 would be excellent. I think those are all labeled for use on crown borer. And you would just mix it up in a watering can and then just water your plants with it, get it down in the root system. And usually we recommend that you do it midsummer. It's usually around July for prevention, and then in the dormant season, like in the fall or very early spring. You just do it twice a year, and you can keep them under control.
Okay. All right. Well, I knew it couldn't have been the other one.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It did have...
Not 100% sure, but that's what it sounds like because you've got crown borer.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what it is.
Okay.
And then the other question I had for you is, I've always wanted to do the red clover as a cover crop.
Yeah.
But when do you have to do it? Like, when's the last date that it's effective to do that? Because my garden is, in full bloom.
Yep.
Right
So
now.
you can plant anytime from now until probably about the first part of October. So about the same time that we recommend you plant grass, and you'd have enough time to get it up and growing before like winter really sets in. Then you could till it, maybe the first or second week of November. So the earlier you get it planted, the better. But what I will do is like I've got 4-foot rows in between my corn, and you can just walk up and down the corn. You can broadcast it through there, and like my potatoes are all starting to die down, and I can just like broadcast it in with my potatoes. And it will germinate and come up, and it doesn't really bother the existing plants that are mature and are ready to be harvested. So it won't bother those at all. And all of a sudden they're coming up all around them. And then when the time comes to till, you just like incorporate it right into the ground. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome. On the clover, all you need is about. I think it's a pound will do like 1,000 to 2,000 square feet. So the clover goes a really long way. I think it runs like between $8 and $10 for a pound, but you're going to cover 1,000 to 2,000 square feet with a pound.
Yeah.
The buckwheat and the vetch you have to put on a little bit heavier, but it's still like 3 to 4 pounds per 1,000 square feet. So it's really not very expensive.
It's a lot cheaper than the bags of amenities.
Yeah, much cheaper than putting a lot of bags out there. Yeah, for sure.
Well, and I would much rather put,
Yeah.
It seems like a better option.
Yeah, I think I put like a poultry manure compost on my garden last year. I think I got it too heavy in some spots, and it's like burning my cucumbers. So my cucumbers are not doing great this year, and I'm just like, what the heck? What is wrong with them? And then I'm like, I wonder if they've got like too much compost there because they just are drying up like every day. So I'm almost positive that's what it is. So.
Well, it's kind of a common thing this summer too. So
yeah, it's been kind of hot and dry, but they should be lasting longer than 24 hours before they wilt. So stupid cucumbers. Yeah.
Oh man, that's sad.
Yep.
Okay, well, I will definitely give that a shot.
Super.
Thank you.
Thanks for calling, Jenny. Have a wonderful weekend.
You too.
All right, thank you. All right, Jason, our show's just about shot.
Yeah.
For today.
That was
lots of good calls, lots of great questions. So thank you to everyone who's been listening and to those that have called in with questions or comments. We appreciate it. And mosquitoes. We covered cover crops. We talked about wildflowers. It's like you came prepared with some really good questions too.
I didn't even plan that, but I did want to mention, just because I realized it had been a year, I did want to mention that cover crop
I think
thing.
I'm so glad that you did because those are two things that I kind of had on my list of things to talk about today because it is cover crop season. And as we move into the fall, not only can we plant like fall bulbs are starting to come in. Oh, by the way, garlic. Our garlic came in the day before yesterday. So we've got garlic in stock now too. So if you want to plant your garlic from now until the ground freezes is garlic planting season. So garlic's in. But wildflowers, great time to plant those at the same time you're basically planting your fall bulbs. And so you get that seed out there in the fall. It winters over. It comes up first thing in the spring. You don't have to do like anything to it. So it's great.
And I'm telling you, that little seed packet I got at Anderson's, I literally ripped it open, scattered it,
Yeah.
And I walked away.
Yep. There you go. Yep. That works. That works. So
very cool.
Awesome.
This is a quick last minute question. We won't really have time to respond to, but a listener wanted to know if you still have, so they can plan for next year, the Feed a Family for $50.
We do.
Seed packets.
Yeah, we carry that all the time, and we actually sell a lot of them at Christmas because people want to give them away for gifts.
Sounds like that's what they're planning.
It's a great gift, and it does. It's got like everything you need in there, like all the staple varieties of vegetables, and it gives you enough to cover like a 2,000 square foot garden.
Very cool.
So yeah, it's a good deal.
$45, that's cheap.
Cash sale going on this weekend, 40% off. Get an extra 10% if you pay with cash. And we're there at Anderson's last week.